I don't know how to do an intro on any of these, so you're not getting one. Metasploitable. We're jumping into it. So, Metasploitable is this. It's basically a vulnerable machine, right? So, Rapid7, which is a really big security firm, penetration testing firm, security tool firm. I mean, they've put out some of the best frameworks out there for security research and pen testing that are considered stock. Like they come stock on Kali Linux, which is a huge Linux-based operating system for security auditing, security research, penetration testing, whatever you want to call it. I think I think penetration testing is a dirty term for what we do, but you know what? Everybody in our industry has decided to do it, so why not? Um, but basically, you know, Rapid 7 built this framework called Metasploit. Metasploit's an amazing framework. It's the first, security tool that I got to play on when I started doing ethical hacking. And basically with Metasploit, there's modules on there that you can use for reconnaissance, for scanning, for injecting payloads and running exploits to be able to exploit vulnerabilities on machines. It's an amazing framework that is free. You know, they have, and this is outside the video, but they have a paid version, like an enterprise version that's got a nice like graphical user interface and everything. Because as you'll see, like Metasploit is mostly just command line interface, but they have a machine. It's a Linux-based machine called Metasploitable, and this machine is actually it's a intentionally vulnerable machine so that we can practice doing scans, doing reconnaissance, breaking into the machine, and that's basically in this pen testing series or ethical hacking series, whatever the fuck you guys want to call it. I don't give a shit. That's what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Metasploitable as well, along with some other tools to show you what this looks like, right? And we've already done a video on note taking, and I'm gonna do another video on a different note taking software that I actually really like that I've been playing around with at my day job. But it's real simple. So basically, I went to Google, typed in Metasploitable, boom, there it is. As we scroll down, you'll see right here, Rapid 7. There's the Metasploitable documentation. I think we're up to Metasploitable 3. Oh yeah, right here on GitHub, Metasploitable 3. But we're gonna do Metasploitable 2, right? So I'm just gonna open that up, and then right there on SourceForge, you can download it. It's simple. I've already downloaded it. The point of this video is to show you how to set it up and get things to work. All right, get things going. But real quick, what I want to talk about is documentation is so important. People don't even realize you can't just jump into the deep end and expect to do everything and just get something up and running. You do kind of need to walk before you run. You need to understand the foundations. So I always encourage going through the documentation because everything is in here. It talks about they talk about payloads, working with payloads, the payload generator. They talk about, validating vulnerabilities. There's a lot in here that Rapid7 has put together regarding Metasploitable, and Metasploitable 2 for Metasploit. Okay. And just how to get everything running. All right. So, oh, look right there. There's a handy guide for Metasploitable 2. Isn't that amazing? But definitely, check out the documentation, peruse through things, understand what you're getting into before you do. So when you virtualize a machine on your main computer, there's lots of different options. For this video, for this series, I chose to use VMware. I've done VirtualBox before. It's free. It's great. VMware is also free and great. I Hyper-V. So we're on a Windows machine. Hyper-V is the Windows version of their hypervisor software, their virtualization software, right? It's the Windows version of VMware, and I have a Hyper-V on here because for my computer I have to have Windows Pro for like encryption and other stuff. But basically, I tried it with Hyper-V. It didn't work real well. Then, as if you've watched my other videos, you'll know I actually use Windows Subsystem for Linux for my Kali box. And, I set up a Metasploitable machine on VMware for my Kali box to be able to communicate with it. And networking can be a pain in the ass. It can drive you fucking bonkers. And it drove me bonkers. You know, when things don't work with networking, it's so irritating. So I couldn't get it to work, and then basically through a lot of trial and error and messing with the network interfaces configuration file on Metasploitable, because it's a Linux machine, and in Linux everything that's config files are basically text. I couldn't get it to work, and it was the worst. So what I ended up doing, I have VMware. I just installed another Kali machine. And so Metasploitable, you'll download it. It already comes, with the ability to go onto VMware. But if we go to Kali, boop, look there, Kali. We're going to click on download, get Kali. So right here, there's virtual machines. And these are built for VirtualBox, Hyper-V. That's new to me. I don't know what that is. But there's VMware, and you can just click the download button right there. That's what I did. You can see I'm logged in as red. And it downloaded. And the great thing about VMware, in fact, I'll go ahead and pull up one of the machines. I'll pull up both machines. Is that, look, there's Metasploitable. There you go. You can actually click File and go to Scan for virtual machines. All right. And as soon as you click on that, it'll bring up, basically a wizard, and you'll go through and choose a folder. So like, let's say you choose your downloads folder, and it'll actually scan for VMware virtual machines that it can then port into the software, and then you can, you can run it. So you can, click on edit the virtual machine. The important thing here is the networking, because the virtual machines have to be able to communicate with each other for us to be able to practice and work, right? So it's important to put it on NAT, which is network address translation. So they'll be on their own network, their own virtual network, where they can communicate with one another. All right. So first things first, we got Metasploitable booted up. I'm in here. I don't know why it's not working. There we go. And we need to log in. Okay. So, and they already say it right there. Log in with msfadmin/msfadmin. So the login name is msfadmin. Password is msfadmin. All right. Look at that. We're in. I like to clear things out. But look, we're in the terminal for Metasploitable. All right. Now in Linux, so if you're familiar with Windows and using Windows command line, if you want to find out the IP address of your computer and the gateway and the broadcasting IP and the subnet and all that jazz, you type in ipconfig. Well, in Linux, you actually type in ifconfig. There we go. And right there, we don't have an IP address. You can see there's the loopback, the 127.0.0.1. That's just the local IP, but as we can see in ETH0, there is no IP. So here's what I'm going to do. This is a trick I learned. I'm going to run sudo, and I'm going to run dh client. Okay. So basically that's a Linux command and I have to put in msf admin password. That's a Linux command that's going to go through DHCP and get us an IP address. So right there, you can see here it says DHCP request of that IP address on ETH1 to that subnet, blah, blah, blah. Now if we want our ifconfig again, right there, there's our IP address, 192.168.64.129. Okay. So now, and by the way, it says right there, to return to your computer, press Control Alt. So I'm gonna hit Control Alt. Look, I got my mouse back. All right. So now we're going to go over to our Kali machine. And again, this is all in the documentation if you want to review it, but the username is Kali. The password is Kali. There you go. All right, now we're going to run ifconfig here. And you can see right here, that's our IP address. So it's .64.130, whereas Metasploitable is .64.129. So it's on the same subnet, it's on the same IP addressing scheme. They theoretically should be able to communicate with one another, right? So the most important thing, so you boot up Metasploitable, you log in, you type in ifconfig to see if you have an IP address. In our case here, we didn't. So I knew as a trick, because I've done a lot of Linux system administration just to practice when I went back to school. You can actually type in sudo dhclient and get an IP address through DHCP. So next thing is making sure they can actually communicate with each other. And so we have this right here. Yeah, you can see it's already been populated because I did it earlier. But sure enough, completing host, I don't know what that means. That's weird. Ping -C for the count, number 4, because we're just going to send 4 ping packets to the IP address of Metasploitable to make sure they can communicate. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So that's basically, that was the point of this video, is just setting up Metasploitable. Make sure, again, that they can communicate. That's really important. I can't tell you when I have set up boxes where I can't get them to communicate, and it's been as simple as editing the virtual machine just to see what the actual, what in the world? I don't know what that means. Just to see what the actual issue is. Yeah. Networking can be a pain in the ass. It can. It's no fun, but you can get them to work. You can get them to communicate. It's that simple. And there are a lot of machines out there that you can practice on vulnerabilities. There's tons of different capture the flags. I mean, if you go to Hack the Box has just a ton of different machines that you can practice on. But I like Metasploitable. It's intentionally vulnerable. It's meant to learn how to use the Metasploit framework, from Rapid7. And so that's what we're going to start off with. All right. But look, we have a nice Kali graphical user interface, and this is what we're going to be using moving forward.